Boom! Good afternoon, people. Petch, what do you think to the new 30-second countdown that I just put on there?
It's a bit funky, isn't it?
Bit funky. Hopefully it wasn't too loud, folks. I've literally just designed that a minute ago. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those people who have never seen us before, my name is Ross. This is producer Petch. Together we run actonthis.tv, basically the #1 knowledge platform for actors, certainly in the UK, if not in Europe. If you're an actor and you want to get involved in TV, although we're going to talk about voiceover in this session, get yourself over actonthis.tv. We sit down every single week with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. We host private Zoom calls for our members, helping you push your acting career forward faster. And we also go live on YouTube like this for free every single week. We're doing it more, Petch. We're doing like more of this, mate.
Are we just live on YouTube and X at the moment? I can't see us on Instagram.
Well, I'm gonna say I'm just waiting for it to go through. It's telling me that it's just gone live now, so it is. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So you folks on Instagram, we should be live on Instagram any second as well. That's just like we have to monitor the comments on Instagram a little bit differently than we do if you're tuning in on YouTube or you're tuning in on X. We can bring your comments up on the screen if you're tuning in on YouTube or X. But you Instagram folk, we will be keeping an eye on the feed, so don't worry about that. And look, people are tuning in. Great to see everybody. So how are you doing? Brand new week. Anything could happen this week. We've got some amazing calls coming up on actonthis.tv over the next few weeks. And tomorrow night, in fact, let's just talk about why we're talking about voiceover in this session, Petch. Tomorrow night, that's Tuesday for those people who might be on the recording. Tuesday, the 4th of June, if I go over to actonthis.tv now, and I go to the live page. I'm going to have to change the address, /live. So if you go to actonthis.tv, what have I done? Spelt it wrong, Petch. Actonthis.tv.
It's only your website as well.
I do know how to use my own website. Actonthis.tv /live. You'll hit this page, folks, where you can see the live calls that are coming up for members of actonthis.tv. Tomorrow night, I'm hosting a session with producer Petch here, but we are hosting a session with my voiceover agents, the Voiceover Gallery. Okay, I do an awful lot of voiceover myself. It changed my life. I cannot tell you how much voiceover changed my life in I've been doing it nearly 20 years now. But certainly when I left drama school around about sort of 2006, 2007 was when it really started kicking off for me in terms of voiceover. And it really was the key to me getting out of my day job, to actually having, time and the finances from earning in voiceover, to then spend time on my acting career, to then, have money to invest in my acting career for headshots and show reels and everything else that you need as actors. And how many times do we hear, Petch, actors to this day come to us and they're like, I'd love to do a bit of voiceover on the side. And I'm like, you are looking at it all wrong, without sounding like an absolute knob. And I'm going to say this just not as like, look at me. And this is why I'm bringing the Voiceover Gallery on tomorrow. They've earned me in the last month, so just in May, £12,500 in voiceover. That is way more than I've earned out of acting. Okay, and Petch and I work and get paid quite well in acting, but you can earn an awful lot out of voiceover, and you might not be aware of that. So tomorrow night, Lizzie and Katie from the Voiceover Gallery, my own agents, are going to be coming on for a member-only session on actonthis.tv to walk everybody through everything to do with voiceover, from what voiceover even is. I think sometimes people don't even really know where voiceover shows up in the world. We'll talk about that in a minute. Because it's everywhere. If you're out and about, I don't know, maybe you're watching on a train right now, or you're in the gym, or you're at work or whatever, you've got the radio on, there's announcements going off, there's announcements on the train, you might have toys, apps on your phone. Voiceover is absolutely everywhere. So we're going to talk about what voiceover is. We're going to be talking about voice reels, because the beautiful thing about the voiceover industry is you very often don't have to audition. Like, you have a voice reel like you would have your show reel in the acting industry. But even when you've got a show reel, Petch, you still have to audition, right? They'll go, we like your reel. Can you come and read this script? And let's see if you're any good at this actual script. When it comes to voiceover, if they just like your voiceover reel, you'll very often not have to do a custom demo. You'll just get booked. That's it. So every time I get a call from the Voiceover Gallery or an email, it's like, I just know I've got work, as opposed to, I have to go and audition for something. We're going to look at kits, as in microphones, if you want to set up a home studio. We're going to look at voice reels, how to get an agent. I mean, we're going to cover absolutely everything tomorrow night. So actonthis.tv /live. If you're not a member, go get a membership. It's dirt cheap. It'll cost you £6.75 a week. That's literally it. Cheaper than any other training out there in the industry, and far, far better. And we're going to spend some time now, Pet, just answering people's questions on VoiceOver, because there's a lot of people who will just have, questions in general. And also, the week after next, we've got 2 times BAFTA winning Aisha Bywater's great TV casting director, coming on for a Zoom call the week after this one with the VoiceOver Gallery as well. So loads going on. But yeah, in this session, we're going to be live now until 5 o'clock UK time. 55 minutes left of this session now on YouTube. And you can ask us absolutely anything you want whatsoever. A new producer, Petch, community manager of Act On This.tv, for those people who don't know him. You've dabbled in voiceover, mate. I've took you into the studio. You've played around a little bit. We've recorded a few clips. Is it something that you think you're going to get a bit more involved in as we move forward?
I thought about it for a long, long time, and it bounces around my head every now and again. And then I listen to myself back on voice notes to you and to everybody, and I'm like, nope, I do not have a voice for voiceover. I have a face for radio and a voice for silent films. That's what my mum used to say.
Well, I don't believe it. One piece of good news for everybody here: whatever your voice sounds like, whatever accent you have, whether it's a regional accent, whether you are not from the UK, there's a ton of foreign dubbing work in the UK. Like, there's a huge market for people with European accents or European language or languages from around the world working in the UK. The VoiceOver Gallery has a whole foreign sort of like translation/dubbing side to it, which is incredibly lucrative. But yeah, Petch, is a limiting belief that your voice doesn't work in voiceover. How many times have you turned the radio on, folks, and you've heard, those kind of like those adverts where you'll have a conversation with someone? So it might be like, the advert starts on the radio, and it'd be me going to Petch. All right, Petch. Have you seen that? Have you seen that new company, WeBuyAnyCar.com? We're not promoting any companies. Other car dealerships are available, by the way. And then you might be like, oh yeah, I'm looking to sell my car. I'm like, hang on a minute, what car you got? Oh, I don't know, a Volvo. I don't know nothing about cars. And they have this little chat, and then they go, oh, wow, I could get £2,000 trading or something like that. It's a conversation. It's not somebody, talking, as a voiceover where everything, sounds like this. It's just normal conversation. There's so many of those adverts being produced because the advertisers want the people doing the voiceover to sound like the customers, because that's how you relate to the people in the advert. If you're hearing people in the advert and they sound like you, and then in a position that you're looking to sell your car, they just want it to sound like you're overhearing a conversation at the pub. So they want people of all accents, as I say, all languages. Even if you're not from the UK, there's still a load of dubbing and translation work done over here. So yeah, we need to beat that limiting belief out your Petch, basically.
Oh, it's not a limiting belief. It's just the sound of my voice makes me cringe. So they won't have that on the radio to make everybody else cringe.
No, honestly, it'd be fine. Well, in Bradford and Yorkshire, you would sound perfect. You would sound just like one of.
I realised that my voice is a lot higher in real life than it is in my own head.
Higher?
I don't sound like a proper. I sound like a whiny. I don't know what.
Mate, you've got some sort. You need to have your ears cleaned out. Right, but let us know if you think Petch sounds whiny and high pitched, because he definitely doesn't. Right, let's see what's going on. Drop us any questions you've got, folks. Honestly, on getting established in voiceover. Go on.
What's questions coming in? Do you want to play the trailer for the voiceover?
Yes, actually, yeah, good. I knew that. This is why we pay Petch, because he reminds me of things that I just forget. Get your questions in, folks. I'm going to play a little trailer out with my voiceover agents. This is with Lizzie and Katie from the VoiceOver Gallery. Honest to God, like I say, these people have changed my life. I've been rep by them for 20 years. And there's an abundance of work out there. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, the voiceover industry. Well, the multi-billion-pound industry, even in this country, just in the UK. And I just think if you're not getting a piece of that pie, you're literally leaving thousands of pounds a year on the table. I'll take us off screen, Petch, and then we'll play this little trailer out, and then we'll jump back on. It's only 2 minutes, folks, but here's a little bit of what we're going to cover tomorrow night. If you want to get involved in this, you want to potentially jump on camera, have a one-to-one with Katie and Lizzie as well tomorrow night. That might be possible as well. We're going to go cover everything we can on the world of voiceover to help
Ian
you
Donnelly, by the way, agrees with me. He's put very whiny, very high.
That's because we know Ian, and that's just a bit of banter. Right, here you go. Let's play this trailer out. I'm going to take us off screen, Petch. Actors, if you are not exploring the world of voiceover, you are literally leaving thousands of pounds on the table. So if you do want to explore voiceover, I want to invite you to this week's Act On This.tv live mastermind session. It's taking place on Tuesday, the 4th of June at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom with these two absolute legends here, my own voiceover agents, and genuinely two people who have honestly changed my life in this industry. Lizzie Finch and Katie Burks from top voiceover agency, the Voiceover Gallery. Ladies, welcome. It's amazing to have you back on Act On This.tv. What are we going to be covering on Tuesday night then?
Oh, yeah, thank you for having us back. So we're going to be covering what exactly a voiceover is, what types of voiceover work there is out there, and also how much money you could make as a voiceover artist.
Everybody's ears have just pricked up right now when it's talking about money. Katie, what else?
We're going to talk about how to approach a voiceover agency, the do's and don'ts. It's not always that easy to get yourself on the book, but there are tricks that we can teach you. And what we expect to hear in your reel, which is basically the CV of the voiceover world, and how to get a reel recorded. We can teach you all about that on Tuesday.
Amazing. We're going to literally dive into it all. Honestly, folks, we're going to walk you through step by step how you get yourself set up in the voiceover world effectively. We're also going to throw open the floor to Q&A. Anything we can help you with, push your career forward in this part of the industry. We are here for it. If you want to get involved, get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of this session and every session. We sit down almost every single week with the biggest casting directors, the biggest agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. And ladies, bit of pressure. Don't know who wants to take this. I'm going to ask you this. I ask this every guest. Why don't actors want to miss this session in particular?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
I think on Tuesday, we're going to reveal the most money that one of our voiceover artists has made in 1 hour. So have a little think about what that number might be, and we will reveal that on Tuesday. We
may run a sweepstake. Honestly, be prepared. It's probably quite staggering. I know you're definitely going to want to find out about it. Be there, folks. Honestly, this will be one of the most valuable sessions we do this year. actonthis.tv/live. Boom. So yeah, actonthis.tv/live. You want to get a seat on that. If you get an Act On This membership, you get a seat on every single call we do, literally every single week, plus access to over 140 recordings of the calls we've done in the last 12 months or so in the members area as well, with the biggest names in the game, literally the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. I know the answer to that question. I know how much they have made one artist in 1 hour. It wasn't me, unfortunately. What do you think a ballpark figure is, Petch? We're going to do it tomorrow night, but they'll obviously let you know exactly what the answer to that is. But what would you say? Like, be like, not like, insane, but like, what do you think? 1 hour of work in voiceover, what?
Well, when I posted that trailer over the Facebook groups earlier, somebody commented on it saying 150,000. I was like, that's a bit too much for 1 hour.
No, that is possible. That is possible
really?
For a worldwide global buyout. Yeah, I mean that's at the very, very, very upper end. And then if they wanted that to be an absolute global, world access to the worldwide rights, it would be a huge company. But yeah, I mean it's not that exactly, but that's not super ludicrous. I mean it's at the very, very upper echelon of one job. But yeah, there's been friends of mine who have done insurance adverts for quite famous insurers in the UK, and I've got 125. I don't know anyone who's been given 150. But yeah, I mean, don't get too carried away, folks. Those jobs are rare. But I've been doing a very well-known biscuit brand job, and that's been about 30, and I've probably done 6 sessions for them, 6 hours work. But it is honestly an incredible industry. Yes, you've got to be good at it. You've got to take it as seriously as you do your acting career. It cannot be something that you just do on the side. For the money that you're getting paid, if you are good and you've got a decent agent, like you can't look at it as something you do on the side. But it can honestly be game changing for people who are prepared to really work at this like they would do their acting career. It isn't just some little thing that you do, alongside it.
Whilst we were just playing that trailer, then I was on X, just making sure that we were live and stuff like that. And I came across a post by Sarah, who I've just posted her comment on.
Sarah, how you doing?
Sarah. She was asking all about voiceover. So I was like, come over. We're talking about it right now. So yeah, Sarah, thank you for joining us. And tomorrow we are going live, if you've missed that, with Ross Grant's voiceover agency, the Voiceover Gallery, to go in depth of absolutely everything you need to get into voiceover. But yeah, hi.
Yeah, Sarah, I went to drama school with Sarah. She's a legend. Sarah, drop some questions now. Let me give you some value now. Anybody else has got any questions at all about getting into this industry? Then let us know.
I just wanted to start with this because Sarah was like, I don't think Petch sounds high-pitched. Thank you very much, Sarah. But I do think I sound high-pitched when I hear my voice, so maybe it's a universal thing. And what I wanted to ask about that, Ross, is with actors, and we watch ourselves back on show reels and class footage and things, we can see different ticks that we're doing, and we go, right, I'm blinking too much there, I'm moving too much like a chicken when I'm talking there, I need to stop that, I'm doing too much. How would you evaluate yourself as a voiceover artist when you don't like the sound of your own voice, or you can't even hear what you sound like because of the way that the bones are in your head?
It's exactly the same as when you are getting used to seeing yourself on screen. I remember being at drama school and doing my third year dissertation, and I was in somebody else's short film. And I remember seeing myself. I had to walk from a car into a house, and then I came through the house, and I sat on the settee. And as I sat on the settee, I saw myself for the first time really on camera, walking and talking. And I thought, oh my God. And also seeing myself from different angles that I'd never seen the back of my head before, like walking. I know it sounds ridiculous. We are talking 2005 as well, when camera phones were not a thing. Okay, so there wasn't a load of video footage out there. You had to have an actual camcorder back there if you were going to film something. And I remember thinking, oh my God. Like everything I've just learned at drama school in the last 3 years, what the hell's going on? I can't believe, like you said, I can't believe I blink like that. Like I move my head really fast. I've done like a theatre degree as well. So on screen, I was much bigger than I needed to be as well. My actions were, far bigger. And I thought, oh my God, I hate watching myself. And then the more you expose yourself to it, the more you do stuff on camera, the more acting classes you do where you get to try stuff out and test stuff out, and you see how small your performance needs to be. You just get used to seeing yourself, and the voice is exactly the same. When you're a kid, I don't know if you ever recorded on like a tape player. I used to have a tape recorder, and me and my mates would muck around with that. And I remember as a kid hearing my voice and thinking, oh my God, that's what I actually sound like. Because like you say, when you're listening to your voice from your inside your head, it's different to how we hear it, from the outside. But it's just an exposure thing. The more you listen and the more you play, the more you record yourself and the more you play it back, the more you get to it, and then it just becomes completely normal. And then you'll pick up on all of the things. You will still have habits. Sometimes I'm in a voiceover session and I roll a couple of words together, or I won't pronounce the T quite as precise as it should be. That's maybe a northern thing, and I can hear that. And even if the engineer or the client doesn't hear that, I go, listen guys, I'm just going to do another one of those, because I will have heard it on playback, just because I know, especially with headphones on when you're recording, that I could deliver that better. So you'll get used to the things that are your kind of things, and the things that you need to work at, and the things that you'll probably always need to work at to a certain degree. But you just get used to it. And I promise you, when people start paying you, and this is screws your head up as well. When people start paying you significant amounts of money to voice their advert, and things like adverts are the very last, the voiceover advert is the very last piece of the puzzle. You imagine as an actor, we get to see the whole process really, bar the pre-production process. As actors, you might be in the advert and you get to see how they shoot it and behind the scenes and all that massive process, Petch. Like, it's huge. They've spent loads of money casting it, loads of money getting an advertising agency to put an advert together. They shoot it, they edit it. By the time it's, a voiceover is needed, it's right at the end of the process. They've potentially put millions of pounds into this, and you've got to walk into a studio and put the cherry on top of the cake. That's quite a bit of pressure. So you, again, it's exposure, sort of getting used to that going in. And when you start, when people start paying you lots of money to do that, at first you are very much like, oh God, when am I going to get found out? Like everybody does, has a bit of that imposter syndrome. But then after a while, you completely get used to the sound of your own voice when you're getting paid that much money, because you're like, I don't care what I sound like. If they think it's good, and they clearly do because they keep asking me back, then I'm just going to get over myself.
So is the voice that you hear in your head now when you're talking, is that the voice that you hear on the voiceover? Are the two very similar now, or do you still think they sound different?
They're similar, but you still have a voiceover voice. So if I'm talking to you on the phone or a WhatsApp voice note, I'm going to be far more lax about my diction, my breath, all that sort of stuff.
Like the tonality of your voice, and like I said, in my voice, if I was to record this now, I would hear it one way in my head, but when I play it back, it sounds completely different.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
still the
it's
same
more
for you
aligned
now
now.
that you've done
Yeah.
that? Right.
No,
okay.
it becomes closer. It's never quite the same. But the other thing as well is like you have now, this might be a bit different as well. If we were talking, your voice would sound different because you've got headphones. We were talking face to face. When you're recording a voiceover, you'll have headphones on. So you'll get immediate feedback from the microphone. So you're hearing your voice almost from inside your head, obviously, but equally externally as well, because it's being fed back into you at real time.
Yeah, it's too much of my voice. I don't like it.
It's like double pitch, but yeah, it's just honestly, who was it who put that comment in? Because that honestly, I promise
Sarah,
you,
yeah.
Sarah,
But
I promise you,
I just adapted on what she was saying there, but yeah.
it's the same for everyone. Honestly, it's just the same as seeing yourself for the first time on video, or seeing a photograph of yourself from a certain angle and going, "Oh God, like that's what my face looks like from profile." It's just getting used to it. The more you do it, and this is why I recommend everybody. When you're getting into voiceover, you've really got to practice, and you don't need loads of expensive kit to do that. I can even walk you through the kit that I use to record, national TV adverts on. It's still only a few £100. It's not much money. My microphone that I use is this. It's called an NT USB. It's about £140. It's not that expensive. I just use my laptop. And I put my microphone in my wardrobe, literally in my IKEA corner wardrobe. So my setup is not expensive. You don't need thousands of pounds of the microphones.
Just while you're talking about kit there, Ian says, I'm having some of that. I have no excuse. I'm a musician and I have my own home studio, so I should get off my arse.
You've got to, Ian. You've got to.
Sarah, again, has gone, I want to get stuck into voice work, and I bought the mic that Ross recommended and set up a makeshift home studio. But then I kind of stalled as I didn't know where to go from there.
So it's about recording. So you're going to be more dangerous as a voiceover artist as well if you can do some basic editing around audio. I use a piece of software called Adobe Audition. You've got that as well, Petch. You can get a free piece of software called Audacity, and that's for Mac and PC. Audition is for Mac and PC as well. You have to pay for Audition. You can get it on a monthly lease. I think it's about £9 a month or something. I'd highly recommend you get that because it's very, very intuitive. It's incredibly easy to use, and there's just some incredible built-in features for it. Audacity is quite good, but it's what they call is open source software. So it's supported well because it's a big, it's a very popular piece of software. But I don't think, in my experience, it's as easy to use as Adobe Audition. So if you've got £9 a month to put into Adobe Audition, and you've got this NT USB mic there, Sarah, it's literally a matter then of just downloading some scripts online or writing your own, and then recording and editing. And then you want to, get to a point where you're confident enough on a microphone to be able to walk into a studio. You could do a voiceover reel yourself, but I like to work with an engineer in a studio who will master it out, beautifully, because they work with, high-end voiceover all day, every day. And then you could walk into a studio and record a voice reel. And your voice reel, if you want to make a note of this now, anybody, your voice reel, if people are like, what goes on it, should consist of really just 7 pieces of audio, and that is 3 commercial reads. So that'd be 3 adverts. It would be 2 what they call corporate reads. Now, the corporate world is pretty massive. That can be anything from, recording an About Us video, like voicing an About Us video on someone's company website, to maybe a piece of medical, research for a group of doctors that might listen to that, to I don't know, I've done everything, Patch, like how to build a wardrobe from IKEA, like an instructional video. That's corporate. And then you have documentary. Now, documentary is documentary, the documentaries that you would watch on TV about all kinds of things, anything from wildlife to, I did one called World's Wildest Flights, and I also did hens behaving badly for Channel 5, which was hens on their hen do's really behaving badly, wild. But you in all of that, so it's 3 commercials, 2 documentaries, 2 corporate pieces. The pieces you choose are absolutely crucial. So very similar to your casting type as an actor. You wouldn't, if you are a squeaky clean, like me, for example, I play a lot of authority figures, cops, businessmen, etc. I'm probably not going to be, cast as the young thug drug dealer. Okay, there would be no point in me going out and recording a showreel scene as a young thug drug dealer, because I'm a 42-year-old, geek, right? So you want to align the material you're choosing to record for voiceover with your voice, so you've got an actual, genuine, legitimate chance of getting those jobs effectively. And if you're struggling with that when it comes to commercials and stuff, look at the products you use in your life. As I said to Petch before, a lot of these adverts, they want you to sound like their ideal client, the people who use that product. You know, so for me, I get quite a lot of just young, I say young, 42, but like enthusiastic. I'm quite enthusiastic. I get a lot of friendly, upbeat kind of things. You know, just on the Oreo advert. So that's just like, Oreo, trust the twist. You know, it's just sort of like upbeat stuff. Or I used to do like Iceland, like, and that's why mums go to Iceland. Or Subway, eat fresh. It's all quite similar delivery, but that's, you know, they're the kind of, you know, the jobs that I get a lot of the time. And that might not be you. Don't try and like squeeze yourself into that niche. Maybe you are, you know, sort of slightly lower energy, maybe more serious, sound more educated. You might do the sciencey bit on the hair adverts, or, you know, God knows. You've got to really align those pieces that you get with your casting type in terms of the voice, you know, your voice type. And that's the most important thing. That's probably, when I've helped people record voice reels, Petch, that's probably the longest part of the journey. It's getting that material. That can maybe don't rush that. It can take 6 weeks.
Whilst we're here on voice reels, Alex Hewitt on Instagram has just said, where do you recommend getting a voice reel done? We're
going to talk about this tomorrow night. Now, the answer, Alex, I wish I could give you the answer now, and I'm not holding it back on purpose, but there is a voice artist on the Voiceover Gallery's books. Lizzie and Katie just messaged me. I don't know her, but she is apparently in the north anyway. In I think she's in like Manchester area. You could obviously travel to the studios in Manchester, wherever you are in the country. But I'm pretty certain, that they're going to recommend this service tomorrow. Not just because this person is on the Voiceover Gallery's books, just because they've recorded dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of reels for artists who have ended up being represented by the Voiceover Gallery, so they can vouch for that. You've got to be careful. There's so many absolute shysters out there who think they know how to record a voice reel, but really, please, please, please be careful, people. What you'll end up happening, if you're not careful, is you find these companies that almost produce them like conveyor belt style. Oh yeah, we'll choose all the pieces for you, we'll record it, we'll master it, and send you off with your voice reel. And it might sound all right on the surface, but they've really not aligned the pieces to your voice type. They've given the same scripts to 30 actors. And this has happened at the Voiceover Gallery. They've received multiple voice reels from actors in the same week that have the exact same reads on. And they go, hang on a minute, I've heard this somewhere. And then they get the other clip out and they go, oh no, this is a different person, but with the exact same scripts. It's useless. You really don't want to do that. You want an absolute custom voice reel with custom scripts, you know, that are aligned exactly to your voice type.
And whilst you're talking about scripts, because you're leading it on brilliantly, Sarah Vince has asked any suggestions on where to find the scripts.
Ideally, you want to adapt existing scripts to yourself and you know, and write. You know, you can write them yourself. Now, you don't be afraid of using brands. Sometimes people are, oh, can I use an actual brand in my voice reel? There's not really any brand out there that's going to come after you if you've done a great job of that advert. If, say, you hear an advert on the radio and you want to recreate that, you have two options. You can, maybe it's a bit naughty, I don't know, but I did when I was first starting off. I literally recorded ads off the radio, recreated them myself because I could edit. I knew how to edit, and did my own version of them. And then what I found, and again, oh god, it's a bit of a grey area. This I'm not advocating this, but I'm sure I got a few jobs in my early days. I'm talking 20 years ago, when things like Orange Mobile was out, when Orange Mobile was a thing. I remember that was one that I recorded because I thought it just suits, that advert really suits my voice type, and I re-recorded what was already out there on the radio. And I'm sure I got a couple of jobs initially in my early days based on the fact that they thought I'd done the Orange ads, Petch. And I rocked up and they're like, oh, you're the guy who does the Orange ads, aren't you? And I had to go,
yep.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about this script. So it's a bit of a grey area. I could have changed the Orange Mobile tagline to, I could have just made up a phone company. They wouldn't have known. I could, you know, God, I don't know. It could have been a foreign, you know, phone company or something. So play around with that. You know, you can get creative yourself. But the key really is to listen, turn the radio on, listen to the stuff that's going out there, watch a bit of YouTube and see the ads that are going on YouTube and stuff. Like, just start watching more adverts. I think what happens nowadays is because we can skip adverts and we watch Netflix and Prime where there's no ads. We're not watching as many adverts, are we? To be honest,
no.
You know, there's not as much going down, so you're not exposed to it as much. So yeah, start watching more TV ads, start listening. Spotify, if you don't have Spotify Premium, you get ads thrown at you, don't you? Listen to those. Like, for once, don't try and skip stuff. Actually listen to things, and then just start writing the scripts out. And your scripts really for your voice reel, how you should do those 7 clips I spoke about before. Record them in their entirety. So you want roughly 30-second clips. It'd be 3 30-second ads, 2 30-second pieces of corporate read, and then 2 30-second pieces of documentary read. And then you would have the full clips of each of those, so 30 seconds times 7. Then for your actual reel, what you'd want to do is create what they call a sizzle reel. You'd want to take 10 to 15 seconds of each of those 7 clips, edit them together in a way that gives it variety. So you might go corporate piece, followed by advert, followed by documentary, followed by advert, followed by corporate, followed by advert, followed by documentary. And you'd ideally want to record contrasting pieces where the energy levels aren't all the same, and it'll make you sound like you've got a really good range there. And then that sizzle reel will be about 90 seconds long, maybe 1.5 minutes long, but it'll be comprised of the 7 10 to 15-second clips from those main reads that you've recorded, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Petch?
Yeah, no, it does. It's like a show reel for your voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to Amy Blake.
Amy,
hello.
How are you?
What do you find the balance like between at-home recording and in-studio recording? Is there currently more of one than the other?
Oh God, these are really good questions. I'm so glad you asked this. So, pre that time we will not mention, pre that time a few years ago where we were not allowed to leave our houses, I won't say the word because I think YouTube still limits your video if you use that word. We can't use that word, Patch. But yeah, during that time, everybody was forced to get a home studio set up. Okay, so before that, I worked exclusively, Amy, in studios. Now, I'm quite lucky. I'm in a major city. I'm in Manchester, but this is the same across all major cities in the UK: Birmingham, London, anywhere really that's got a. But it's anywhere that's not like the middle of nowhere, really. We'll have voiceover studios that you can go to, and they can be connected to any other voiceover studio in the world, basically. So I would often go into the Manchester studio, the voiceover gallery, and I'd record in person. I loved it because I got to socialise and get out of the house a little bit. I love working with the engineers there, and you get to the industry's really small, If you do a great job and you are efficient, the engineers will love you, because the engineers are also booked by the hour. As a voiceover artist, you're booked by the hour. Even if the job takes you 10 minutes, you're going to get paid your basic studio fee for the hour, which is roughly £250 to £300, just for turning up. That's before usage is put on there. If it's an advert, you're going to get thousands in usage potentially if it's going to go out on TV. But if you can do a good job of those reads, and you can maybe, you're booked for an hour, so's the engineer, but you can finish in 20 minutes. The engineer might have to spend 15 minutes editing the audio, but then they've got 25 minutes to catch up, either have a break, catch up on another job before their next job. They're very often stacked out, Petch, where it's like hour after hour after hour if you're an engineer. So if you get a reputation for being efficient, they'll recommend you to clients, and you'll just go back and back and back. So I used to do it all in studio. Then I was forced to get at-home setup. Now, there's an incredible piece of software called Source Connect. Again, you lease it. It's about $29 a month. There is a free version as well. I use that sometimes, depending on the studio I'm connecting to. And that enables you, over the internet, to connect again with any studio in the world. So now I pretty much work exclusively out of my wardrobe. So that 30K for these adverts that I've just been paid, I did it in my bedroom in a pair of tracky bottoms. Okay, obviously I'm good at what I do, and I've got relatively okay kit, but it's not thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds worth of stuff. And I did it all from home. That's the amazing thing. You don't have to travel. Going at the studio in Manchester, Petch, it take me 30 minutes to get there, an hour to be there, 30 minutes home. Now it's just plug in Source Connect. Well, plug in my laptop, turn on Source Connect, open Source Connect, connect to the studio, done. So if you've got, again, $29 a month to buy Source Connect, or use the free version for now, you can connect to any studio in the world. You have no excuse. People have got, honestly, I promise you. Oh, but I don't live near a studio. It's not an excuse anymore. You've got no excuse, honestly. So yeah, there's not like one or the other that's preferred. The voiceover gallery will still say to me, Ross, if you want some friends because you're lonely and you speak to Petch online, do you want to come in and do the session in the studio for a bit? So sometimes I'll pop in, but 9 times out of 10 I'll record from home.
Nice. Sarah again has, what about accents? Do castings prefer to cast someone with their own accent? I can do them.
Right, okay, so I've honestly been asked in an advert, like in a normal voiceover job, I've been asked maybe 3 times in 20 years to do another accent. Now, sometimes that's a cost-saving exercise. So again, as I said before, when we're talking about regional accents, they might want a conversational style ad where I'm like, oh, you're thinking of selling your car? like, I am, man, like, I'm not going to sell me car. And you might go, okay, right. I mean, it doesn't really sound like two different people. But they might ask you to do that. So you're trying to come across as two different people if your range is good enough, and then you're more employable because you can do multiple voices. Where it really comes in accents, it's very rare that happens, where accents really come in useful, and again, there's a load of money involved in this, is animation. So, and that's beautiful for actors as well, because you're actually getting to act. I get it. Some actors are like, oh, well, doing corporate ads and commercials and stuff, it's not really acting. I mean, it is. You're emoting through your voice. Actors have probably 70% of the prerequisites required to be a good voiceover artist anyway. You only need to really learn breath, mic technique, and the technical stuff to be a great voiceover artist. You've probably all got 70% of what you need already. But in animation, it's really useful. So, Petch, you came behind the scenes when I was recording a new CBeebies animation called Timpo. I play this little guy called Timpo, and his voice was similar to mine, to be honest. Was pretty much just high energy like this. All right, Petch. And he was a bit like Bob the Builder, but futuristic. But there was also loads of incidental characters there that the cast, there's only 4 of us, we all played those incidental characters as well. So you might get some northern fella like this, or you might get some, some Cockney geezer like that. And again, it's really useful. You're more employable in animation if you can do multiple accents. I remember like doing like a dragon who was like Scottish like that in a kid's cartoon and stuff like that. So that's where the accents really come into their own in voice animation. Now, animation reels would be separate, Patch. You'd have a separate animation reel.
So a question that's come in by Instagram, Bear Thompson. Hi guys, if you like to do cartoons like you do, Ross, shall we do a scene, or would it be better to book a bit of something first?
Right. Okay. So your what I said before about your reel, that's the bulk of the work is commercial, corporate, and docs. That's sort of like as in like where a lot of the big books is, and the daily work is there. So you would want a separate reel for that. That would be your sizzle reel. You would have a separate animation / gaming reel. Some computer games are a big thing now as well. They fall under the same thing. Games and animation fall under the same umbrella really. So you would have a reel for those two. Now this is where you can get really, really inventive, and I've heard some absolutely amazing gaming and animation reels where people have got really creative. One of the best ones I heard was someone had written a dinner party, right? They'd written a dinner party scene with like 12 characters in it all around a table, and they did every single voice in it. And they also did some impressions as well. So like Marge Simpson was thrown in there. And it was just these people, having a conversation around the dinner table, but it was obviously, ridiculous, just like very cartoonish, crazy. And they just did all the voices, and that ended up being their gaming and animation reel. So you can get really inventive with that. You don't have to. You could just do clip after clip of, here's me playing futuristic space cadet on, some sort of Warhammer computer game, or here's me playing this wizard style person, or whatever it is that you want. Anything, any accent, any voice you can dream of, you can put into your animation and your computer game reel. But that would always be separate. Yeah.
This is what John has just put up here. Any advice for balancing the content of a single reel? I have reels for animation and for gaming, for monsters, corporate, commercial, etc. But struggling to figure out how to put a single reel together. You would keep the two separate.
Yeah, 100%. So you would always end up with two reels, John. So you would have your monster reel, your animation, your gaming reel. That would be one, and then your corporate, commercials, and documentaries would be the other. You'd never mix a Scottish wizard in after you've just done some sort of like WaterAid commercial, charity commercial. It would be insane. Donate today. Call 0800 30 65 25. All right, mate. I mean, you could do, I suppose, but it's a bit mental. I've never seen people do that. I would always separate those two, just because. I think people go to an animation reel because they want to employ you for animation. They don't go to an animation reel because they want to hear a bit of corporate.
Yeah,
they know what they want, and giving them that option. This is my straight reel, and this is my more crazy creative reel. That's always better. But it sounds like you got loads of great content, man. Honestly, like get it out there.
Indra asks, should I get the kit first or get a reel made first?
Right, so people very often jump into getting reels made before they're ready. This is like a real thing this is a real thing on reels that I see a lot. Now, if you equate this to the acting industry, imagine having never taken an acting class and then booking a £450 show reel scene with someone like Chris Stone, having never learnt lines before, having never stepped foot on set before, and then just turning up expecting to do a good job. You'd never do it. So what I would do, Indra, get the kit first. Don't spend a fortune. I'm literally going to give you all a kit list, the exact kit that I use. I'm going to give it you tomorrow, the make, model numbers of everything and the price of everything. I'm going to give it you on this session with the voiceover gallery tomorrow night. Get that first, and then practice. Literally, 3-6 months of just nailing reads, discovering your voice type, getting used to this. Because if you are going to get a reel done and then it leads to work, how it often works is you'll be sent the script very often on arrival. So you'll get the script if you go to a studio. Say you're recording some TV ads for Sky, you'll get this script when you get there. A lot of the time that is how it works. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll get it the day before, but not often. And you'll walk into a studio and there'll be the engineer there. You'll walk into a booth, so you'll be behind some glass. And then on the other side, you're going to have the engineer. You'll probably have 2 people from the ad agency. You might have a couple of people who just want a jolly from the company the ad is for. You might have some creative director, some script writer. When I used to do Jet 2's adverts, there'd be 12 people on the other side of the glass, all looking at me, again, like I said before, to put the cherry on top of the cake for their adverts that might have cost them 2 million quid. It's quite a lot of pressure. So if you can't turn up and deliver a cold read well, it's not going to look great. So you need to get really, confident with cold reads. So like I would practice at home. I'd literally download a script online, search for voiceover scripts. There's a company page called Edge Studios or something. Could you Google it and just see? I think it is. They've got a script library of thousands of scripts. I think some are American, so you'd want to adapt them to the UK market if you're working in the UK. But I think Edge Studios do lots of sample scripts. I don't know what else they offer, but you might, I would just download a few scripts and treat it like an actual job. Go, right, I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to set my kit up and I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to read it because they're not that pressured.
edgestudio.com. edgestudio.com.
And have they got the script library there? Can you see a link to a script
free
library?
voiceover practice scripts, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So yeah, edgestudio.com. Go download some scripts. And then go, right, okay, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to look at this, and then I'm going to start recording. And ideally, you would want to achieve a usable take by take 3. Your first take, you can screw up. Your second take, you're finding your way. But the third take, I'm not saying it's the one that they would use necessarily. Very often, you'll do 60 takes in an hour if it's like a 10-second ad or something. But by the third one, it should be usable. It should be good enough to go, if this was on the advert, it's probably not amazing. It's probably not exactly what it's going to be in the end, but it should be usable. Nobody should go, oh, that's not very good. And when you get yourself to that point, then you're ready to go and get a reel done. Don't scrimp on a reel. As I say, voiceover jobs can pay you tens of thousands if it's an advert and you get it right. Your reel, I would honestly spend £500 to £600 on my reel. I'd go to a great studio. We're going to, again, Lizzie and Katie are going to give us some recommendations tomorrow night on this call that we're doing for Act On This members. So yeah, I would want to spend some decent money. Any company out there that's like, oh, we'll do your voice reel for 90 quid. Run a mile. You can't. They don't know what they're doing. If you can't do a reel for 90 quid that's really, really good. Honestly, that's really unique. That's mastered properly. Sound effects, music beds. It's got to sound like the real deal, and I would want that edited by an engineer who edits real deal stuff for a living. Don't go to voiceover reel providers, the actors have set up, oh, I'll do your voice reel, if they're not regularly working in voiceover. I work almost every week in voiceover. I'd still not record you a voice reel. Still wouldn't do it. I've been doing it 20 years. I'm still not doing it. I'm like, again, I would rather you go to the engineers that I work with professionally on a daily basis and people who do this properly for a living. If actors do it as a side hustle and they're not earning really good money from voiceover, doing it every day, don't use them. It'd be the equivalent of going to I don't know, we've used this analogy before. Don't go and learn how to do self-tapes from somebody who doesn't do self-tapes for a living. And if they do self-tapes for a living, make sure they're booking work from self-tapes. Every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to set up a self-tape class because they've got no acting work coming in. And it's like, why am I going to learn from somebody who's not booking jobs through self-tapes? It's ridiculous. So don't give your money to actors who are doing something like this on the side. Like, if there are voiceover artists out there who are working regularly with massive brands and massive companies and they will do it for you, that's a far better bet, in my opinion.
So speaking of work, Alex Hewitt on Instagram has asked, where is the best place to find voiceover jobs when you're just starting out?
So what I would do when you're just starting out is, obviously, again, like I was saying before, you're going to want to practice, to make sure you're great first. Anyway, I'd straight away start looking for rep. I wouldn't just go, I'm going to do a load of pay to play stuff first and then get rep. I'd try to get rep initially whilst doing the pay to play stuff. So when I talk about pay to play, there are sites out there, kind of similar to the acting industry, like Spotlight and Mandy, but just for voiceover. So there's companies like Badalgo is a really legitimate, well-known site. I always spell it wrong. Let me Google. Let me Google Badalgo. I think it's B. Is it B-O-D or B-A-D? Badalgo. Let's have a look. B-O-D-A-L-G-O. Badalgo. Find the perfect voiceover. Badalgo is a really good site for legitimate, decent briefs that go out on that as well. There's other companies like Voices 123. There was Voice Bunny back in the day that I used to use years ago. I don't know if that's still going. But yeah, Badalgo is probably the equivalent of Spotlight for the voiceover industry. And that's another thing as well when it comes to agents. A lot of your acting agents will go, oh, well, we'll rep you for voiceover as well. They won't. Honestly, without sounding horrible, you need a sole voiceover agent if you're going to earn good money out of this. But how many voice briefs do you see go out on Spotlight? Not that many. You know, agencies like the Voiceover Gallery will maybe book, 75 to 100 voiceover jobs a week. 400 jobs a month. You're not getting anywhere near that volume of voiceover work going out on Spotlight, because big companies who want decent voiceovers, they want to deal with big. They don't want to go to Spotlight for voiceover. It's an acting platform. Nothing against Spotlight. They're brilliant for acting, obviously. But for voiceover, it's not the go-to place. You might see some briefs going out on there occasionally, but you want a sole voiceover artist, not an acting. Even if I was at United or independent, a huge agency, they're not repping me for voiceover.
No,
because they might have a department and people who know about it, but they're not a sole voiceover agent that have got the connections where big advertising agencies will go to them and say, right, we want a voice. If they want voices, they go to a voiceover agent, not an acting agent, basically.
Amy has just signed up for Badalgo. I'm waiting for her materials to be approved.
Ah, there you go, Amy. No, honestly, it's good. It's good. And let us know. It wasn't when I was first starting out. It wasn't around, so I was using all those other sites that I just mentioned there. But Badalgo's become pretty much the industry leader when it comes to decent briefs and stuff. So do let us know how you get on with that, and I'll talk to Katie and Lizzie about it tomorrow night as well to see what their opinions are.
Amy Roxon on Instagram has asked, would it be possible to have a listing of voiceover producers and directors, etc., please? Kind of like our Ultimate Contacts database, I assume.
It's not something that we've ever produced before, because all of these producers generally work with agencies or via these platforms. So it's not quite the same as the acting industry where you can send your show reel to a casting director. You very often don't have casting directors in voiceover. It's done internally by the advertising agencies and the clients. So there's not really a go-to person. Say, for example, these Oreo adverts that I've been doing. Yes, there was a big ad agency in between me and Oreo, but it was the client themselves in Europe that chose me. So it wasn't the producer that chose me, it was the end client. So ultimately you could go to any company in the world and go, I'm a voiceover artist looking for voiceover. You're better making connections with I think maybe engineers in this country and studios, voiceover studios, engineers, and ultimately the goal is going to be to get a sole voiceover agent. It makes everything really, really far easier. Plus sites like Badalgo, yeah, that's where they would go for voices as opposed to direct to a voiceover artist. Once you've done a job, the good thing is once you've done a job, as I said before, particularly if you get on really well with the either with the client or the engineer, and you do a really good job and you're efficient and you save them time, because time is real money in this industry, word of mouth is powerful. You'll get recommended quite a lot just because you've worked with people already. So it's a bit more organic in the voiceover industry than right into all the casting directors in the acting industry. Again, it's something we can talk about tomorrow night, though, if that is something useful that they see their clients do at the Voiceover Gallery. But I think using sites like Badalgo and aiming to get an agent with the work you might get on Badalgo, that's going to be far more efficient, I think.
This one isn't voiceover, but it's something that we cover a lot on Act On This. Quasi girl.
This is
How
my
do I
niece.
earn thousands of
This is my
pounds
niece, Fetch. I
acting?
recognize. So Arla, what you do is you sign up for a membership at actonthis.tv. Now, family don't get any discount. It's actually twice the price for you. So yeah, get your dad. That's my brother. Get your dad to wire $1,000 in my bank, and we'll sort you out with a membership. It's fine. How you earn thousands of pounds out of the acting industry is oh god, I mean, we talk about it every single week on actonthis.tv, folks. So those people who are interested in that, if you're an actor, if you love acting, you want to work on TV, we focus on TV over on actonthis.tv. Genuinely, get yourself a membership. Not you, Arla, I'll sort you out. You're my niece, but get yourself a membership, folks, at actonthis.tv. Let me just show you. Like, I mean, it's dirt cheap. £6.75 a week. Way cheaper than anything else out there. Stop paying 60 quid for these bullshit workshops that
Stop
you get
swearing in front of your niece.
Sorry, niece. I'm sure my brother and I suppose you did worse. Yeah, people stop wasting money performing for 2 minutes in front of a casting director. That it's just pointless. It's just pointless. You can do way better marketing yourself if you understand how the industry works. If you go to actonthis.tv, click on this preview features section up here. Look at the guests that we've had on in the last few. I mean, Victor Jenkins, Claire Bleasdale. Victor Jenkins, they're one of the biggest casting directors in the freaking land. You know, giving you a 2-hour session on how you can get on his radar, how you can send him your reel, literally his personal email address. You know, people talking about email addresses for producers. It's different in voiceover, but in the acting industry, on Act On This, we literally give you absolutely everything that you need. We have a brand new guest every week. Claire Bleasdale was an amazing session with her last week. Anyone who wants to get into TV comedy, independent film, commercials, we talked about on that one. Guy, how great agents we have on. The on-set acting coach at Hollyoaks, Mr. David Crowley. We do things called showreel surgery. We talked about money and tax and accountancy, something that might sound boring, but if you want to save yourself literally thousands of pounds a year, that in itself will earn you thousands out of the acting industry if you're in it, by just understanding how to be tax efficient. There's so many sessions here, literally 143 with the biggest names in the game in the members area. Just literally dive in, press play on a video or listen to the audio-only version, and you will find it impossible not to make progress in your career. If you're banging your head against the wall and you don't know where to start in the industry, and you want direction, you want support every single day, 24/7. We've got a community hub here with 1,000 actors in it all ready to help you. We go live every single week with the biggest names in the game. We do one-to-one coaching every other Friday. We just did our Act On This meetup, Petch. We do it online, but sometimes we do it in person. So we did it in Manchester, Birmingham, and London this weekend just gone. If you want to be part of the best community out there, get a membership for £6.75 a week. Honestly, like, I went to one of the best drama schools in the country. It was an absolute rip-off. I'll say it on the record. You know, it cost me about 15 grand. The equivalent course today is 55,700 for £279 a year, which is what an Act On This membership will cost you. I will give you an education literally 10 million% more effective, if that's even a thing, than drama school. I mean, you've got to be able to act. That's the caveat. You need to be able to act, basically. If you can act, then if you get an Act On This membership and you understand how the industry works, you will earn money out of it. Simple as that. You could be the best actor on earth, but if you don't understand how the industry works and you're sat there waiting for chance and powerful other people to give you a job, you're going to lose. That is just deploying losing strategy. So yeah, went off on a bit one there, but honest to God, actonthis.tv, get a membership. Try it for a month. Honestly, try it for a month. I promise you it'll change your life. What else is going on, Petch?
Leandro has said, I heard that voiceover reps prefer clients with their own home studio.
So we just spoke about studio. So it's not necessary, but since something called Source Connect came out, then it will enable you to do work at very short notice. So it is attractive. We're going to talk all about home studio setups tomorrow night. Mine has cost roughly, honestly, it's nothing. It's like 400 quid, something like that. If that,
but do you think
it's probably more like 300 quid.
Do you think it would be a put off if they didn't have a home studio?
You're going to be not like, if you're really good, it won't matter. If you're near a studio and you can travel, if you're in a city and you're near a studio and you can travel, and your voiceover agent potentially is in the same city, that's great. You're going to be more attractive if you've got a home setup, but it's dead easy. Gone are the days where you used to have to, back in the day, have what was called an ISDN line. I can't remember what it stands for, but it was copper wired, like stable internet back in the day. And they were really expensive to have. Nowadays, no, you don't. You just need an internet connection. Literally it, and something called Source Connect.
What if you live in council estate where people are shouting on the street and you're near a busy road, or the train lines are running behind your house. You just can't get that silence that you need.
I mean, there's definite ways around it. So, I mean, if you were in, if literally it sounds like a war zone outside your house, no, it's not going to be ideal. I mean, I live in like an apartment block above a shopping centre area, basically downstairs. So I'll often have the lorries dropping off deliveries here, where you get the beep, beep, beep. For 5 minutes as they're reversing. I'll have people shouting, dogs barking, etc., etc. As long as it's not absolutely constant, then you can record in between that going on effectively. Even in the middle of a session, I'll sometimes be like, hang on a second, guys, there's just a dog barking. 1 second, right, he's gone. Okay, now let's go. Because in voiceover, unless you're doing a really long corporate job, which is reams and reams and reams of dialogue, if it's a 30-second ad, you might be recording it line by line. Might take you like in 5-second blasts. Really, really won't matter. You definitely want to look at your environment though. You want to be in a room that's carpeted. You want as many soft furnishings around as possible, because they will absorb any what are called reflections. If your floor is hard, you've got glass everywhere, big windows, you're going to get lots of echo. You don't want that. You want it to be as dead as possible. But I'll show you my setup tomorrow. Literally a stand in my wardrobe. If you've got a wardrobe, I'll show you how you can, if you've got a shelf in your wardrobe, that's all you need. You need a wardrobe and a shelf, and you can get a studio arm. I'll even give you the model number. I literally clamp it onto a shelf in my wardrobe, and mine's a corner wardrobe. So a door opens out, like, how do I do it? Like that, hang on, how do you see it? It's backwards on camera. So kind of like the doors can open out. So I'm stood in it, and then the doors can sort of kind of close around me.
Box you in, yeah.
Box me in, yeah. And you'll be surprised how much noise that cuts out. If you've got decent windows, you're not going to eliminate it all. There's also a lot can be done in post-production if you've got like a little bit of something. And also the microphones are very directional. They're not that sensitive. It's not ASMR, unless you want to do that. They only pick noise up from one side. So, they're not picking up everything around you. They're very directional. So there's a lot you can do about that. You don't need to be in a perfect environment. We've been in a studio when we recorded that podcast down in London, in a literally £1 million studio with a floating floor. And I can record audio in my wardrobe for 300 quid. I don't think you could tell the difference. I'm talking like just normally when you've got a bit of music underneath it and it's an advert, and honestly, like, you don't need to worry about it too much.
Jeddy Connor has said, have you already mentioned suggested equipment options for a home recording studio? And if yes, is this live stream available to watch later?
Yes, so I haven't yet. I'll give you so let's do it now, and I'm going to go over this properly tomorrow night. But for those people who are on that call, I'm going to give you exactly every single piece of kit that I use. But in terms of microphones, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I need a £3,000 microphone." No, you don't. You could get a £3,000 microphone. You could put it in a room that's got loads of hard surfaces everywhere, and it sound shit. It would sound really, really bad. You can get a 200 quid microphone or 150 quid microphone. Put it in a room that's got lots of soft furnishings around, like I say, that's more of a dead sound, carpeted, and it'll sound great. So the microphone I use is this one, and I record everything on this. And honest to God, I'm not just saying this. Just last week, I was doing an advert, and the engineer, again, this happens so regularly, said, "Ross, just before the client dials in, what setup have you got there?" And I had to say, like, it's almost a little bit, not embarrassing, but like, they think it costs a fortune. I have to say, listen, this is a USB microphone. It doesn't even go through an interface. This is called the Rode, RODE is the company, the Rode NT, so November Tango USB. And it plugs in via USB, Rode NT USB. The capsule on it, this bit here, is the equivalent of Rode's really high-end NT1 microphone, which is a lot more expensive, but this sounds just as good. And so it's a Rode NT USB. The studio arm that you can't see on here is called a Rode PSA1. So what's that in police talk?
Alpha.
Papa Sierra
Alpha.
Papa Sierra Alpha 1, a Rode PSA 1. The shock mount that this is connected to is called a Rode. So the shock mount is, I just nearly smashed my Mac off there. You can't see it, but the cradle that this thing sits in is called a Rode SMR. So what's that? Sierra Mother? What's them?
I can't remember.
Romeo. Sierra Mother Romeo. So yeah, an SMR. And then so that's your setup there, really. That's the mic, the cradle, and the studio arm. And then you would want to have a piece of software called Source Connect. That connects you with any studio around the world. That's about $29 a month. And I edit on a piece of software called Adobe Audition. And that is literally it. Honest to God, I probably earned 100 times so far since this financial year, since April, 100 times already what that costs. So I understand it's not like, 300 quid is 300 quid. Like that mic's about 140. The shock mount's about 40 or something. The studio arm's maybe 60 or 70. And obviously you'll need a laptop. You might have a MacBook already and a USB cable. But if you can afford to invest, it's so freaking worth it because you can get so much money back.
The other thing now is you can get things like that via Amazon, and they've teamed up with like Klarna and stuff, and you can pay it monthly.
Yeah, I think anywhere you can pay with PayPal, you can do PayPal Pay in 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get into debt. I'm not advocating like get going under. Don't do that. Make sure you're responsible with your finances, but don't look at this as an expense you're never going to get back. I think so many actors are so not frivolous with money. Frugal with money, because they don't bet on themselves.
No,
it's like, oh well, I won't get that. I won't get an Act On This membership. I won't get Spotlight. I won't get a microphone. What are you doing? You're literally saying to yourself, I'm shit and I'm never going to earn this back. You need to champion yourself.
I'm not advocating people getting debt and spending way beyond their means, but if you can get all this equipment now and pay £10 a month for X amount of months, that's just a couple of drinks?
Couple of lattes.
Yeah, that you go without for that 1 month. And you could be earning money from this equipment now to be able to pay all that off even quicker.
Yeah. Now, as I say, I said before, not to sound like, oh, look at me, I'm a knobhead, but like, yeah, I earned £12,549 last month in voiceover, in a month. So like, I've been doing it a while, so don't expect to just get that straight away. You've got to sort of prove yourself, but you have to bet on yourself as well. You've got to champion yourself. You cannot go into this with the limited mindset that I won't spend that because I'll probably never see a return. If you think like that, you will never see a return. So many actors get in their own way in the acting industry, never mind voiceover, because they want to go cheap. Oh, I'll get this company here to do me a show reel for 40 quid. Don't, just save up so you can get something done properly that's going to do you justice, because you're only going to cry when you get something rubbish back and then you're going to have to pay twice. You don't need to spend a fortune when it comes to voiceover, but just honestly, if you get the kit I've just said there, and I don't get paid from Rode, I get no, they don't pay me. I just have used their stuff for 20 years and it's always been top notch, really, really good. There's other great brands out there. Shure, Shure, do some great mics. Neumann are the very expensive ones, but Rode are just solid, man. And I get so many comments from people. This is a Rode mic that me and Petch are on. I get so many comments from people like, what's your setup? What's your setup? Engineers who have been in the industry years and have worked with very expensive equipment. So it is good. I can vouch for it.
Ian says, you are your business. Every self-respecting business has to invest to be successful. I totally agree.
Yep.
Serena on Instagram has said, love Act On This. You both are amazing. Thank you, Serena.
Thanks,
you
Serena.
helped me land my agent. Highly recommended.
Yes. Honestly, come join the community, folks.
Alex Hewitt, again, is asking for companies to recommend getting a reel done by.
Tomorrow night, Alex. I don't know the name. I don't know the name of it. Tomorrow night. So Lizzie and Katie, when I was recording the trailer with them, that I'll play out again. If people are just joining now, I'm doing a session with my voiceover agents tomorrow night for all members of actonthis.tv. We're going to go over voice reel creation, the industry, landing an agent, the money you can earn, how it all works. Okay, if you're not a member of Act On This, go to actonthis.tv, get a membership, dirt cheap, £6.75 a week, and you can join us on every call that we do for our members. Private calls on Zoom with the biggest names of the game. Katie and Lizzie did say, Alex, when I recorded the trailer with them that I'll play in a minute for tomorrow night's call, that they have an artist on their books who's very, very experienced. She's been in the industry 20 years, similar to me, and does, as a service, record voice reels for people. They will recommend her because they know she's done a great job and she does a lot of the reels for the voiceover gallery's clients. I don't know her name, but we will get that for you tomorrow, mate, definitely. And I think she is northern based as far as I know, and I know you're in the north, mate.
Nice. That's everything so far.
And it's 5 minutes, so we're we've come in on time. But folks, honestly, yeah, as I say, tomorrow night this will be one of probably the most valuable sessions that we do this year. As I say, if you want to, if you really want to get into this industry when it comes to voiceover, and you're not like, oh, I want to do it on the side and I'm going to dabble, get yourself over at TV. Go to actonthis.tv/live. Let me just type that in properly. actonthis.tv/live. actonthis.tv/live. It'll take you to the live schedule page. Every week we sit down and say with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. So the voiceover gallery is tomorrow night, Tuesday the 4th of June, as we're recording this. And then next week we are joined by, again, one of the biggest casting directors in TV, 2 times BAFTA winning casting director Aisha Bywaters. That's a Thursday the 13th of June. We do sessions on alternative Tuesdays and Thursdays, basically. So Tuesday this week, Thursday next week, Tuesday the week after that. Every single week this year, we will have a session with one of the biggest names in the game. And there's 140 sessions already in the members area that we've done in the last year that you'll get instant access to literally right now if you go and get a membership.
Just to make people aware, the Aisha Bywaters chat is going to be earlier in the day.
Yeah, good point. 2 p.m. Aisha's got children, so we're doing that at 2 p.m. These are all recorded, by the way, as well. If you can't be there tomorrow night, if you get a membership, you'll get access to the recording the day after. It'll be roughly a 2-hour session, and we're going to dive into absolutely everything that that we can do on these calls. So please be there. I would love to see you, and I just want people to commit to this part of the industry. I mean, I don't care if you don't, because I'll just have all the money then. It's fine. I mean, don't do it. But the amount of people who come to me, and the biggest issue is they don't earn enough money to focus on their acting career because they're doing these shit jobs that they hate, that I did for 11 years before I got into voiceover. I worked in retail all through drama school and for 3 or 4 years out of drama school, because I was like, everyone has to do this. Everyone's got to have a job that they hate to pursue their acting career. You don't. You really don't. If you explore areas like this, you don't have to, do jobs that you hate in order to actually, get anywhere in life. You can pursue an acting career whilst doing other things that you enjoy. So yeah, if you like money and you are prepared to work, it's not just an instant fix. You've got to commit to it. You've got to really look at it and study it like you would your acting career. You never look at it as something you do on the side. Come and join us. It really can be life-changing. I have experienced that myself. And I really mean that. Like, I feel it in my heart whenever I meet Mary Lou. Her name's Mary Lou Thistleton-Smith, who owns the Voiceover Gallery, but Katie and Lizzie and all the agents that have been there, like, I cannot tell you the gratitude that I feel to them. To get emails through where maybe you did a job 6 months ago and you'd forgotten all about it and you'd already been paid for it, but then you'll get emails through going, "Hi Ross, they just let you know," whatever brand it is, they just want to renew this advert for another 6 months, so if you just want to invoice us for another $5,000. I'm like, what? It's insane. And again, it's not all about the money, but it does make life a hell of a lot easier if you're an actor, so you're not having to do these day jobs that you hate. And I don't want to paint it that every single job is like that, because some of the jobs are just corporate jobs for 250 quid, but if it's earning £5.75 an hour in a toy shop like I used to work in, that's what I used to get, Betch, £5.75 an hour, or 250 quid an hour, I know what I would rather do. So thanks for being here.
Everybody's saying thank you, Ross and Petch, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. See you guys. Thank you. Great as always. So if you're just joining us now, like I can see people on Instagram are just joining us. We're kind of finished now, guys, but do go back and rewatch the replay.
Yeah, watch the replay.
Yeah, your niece there going, bye.
See you later, Isla. See you later. Gwazi Girl. Go subscribe to Gwazi Girl on YouTube. I think Isla does, like, what do you do, Isla? Minecraft videos. I think she does like that, stuff like that. Kids love Minecraft, don't they? And all that YouTube stuff.
Never played Minecraft. I need to get on it.
I've not got time. We ain't got time, Patch. We're too busy doing this. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And yeah, any other questions you've got tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Go get your membership at actonthis.tv/live. We'll be live with the Voiceover Gallery, and we'll just cover as much as we possibly can. Because Lizzie and Katie are my agents, I know I can get a bit of extra time out of them. I can also ask them any question you want, like in a really honest way, like
Just
really. Yeah, I can just go, listen, will you sign Petch? But yeah, I can, we can just get really honest on it and just get all the inside info that you want, guys, honestly. So be there, or if you can't be there, get a membership and you'll get the recording on Wednesday as well. So what I'll do for those people who just joined, I'll play the trailer one more time, Petch, and then we'll call it a day, mate.
Nice one.
But appreciate it, folks. Well, I'll play the trailer and we'll have to come back on for a minute while I do end the stream. But here's a trailer and we'll come back on for 5 seconds. Where is it? Here we go. Gonna take us off, dude. Actors, if you are not exploring the world of voiceover, you are literally leaving thousands of pounds on the table. So if you do want to explore voiceover, I want to invite you to this week's Act On This.tv live mastermind session. It's taking place on Tuesday, the 4th of June at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom with these two absolute legends here, my own voiceover agents, and genuinely two people who have honestly changed my life in this industry. Lizzie Finch and Katie Burks from top voiceover agency, the Voiceover Gallery. Ladies, welcome. It's amazing to have you back on Act On This.tv. What are we going to be covering on Tuesday night then?
Oh, yeah, thank you for having us back. So we're going to be covering what exactly a voiceover is, what types of voiceover work there is out there, and also how much money you could make as a voiceover artist.
Everybody's ears have just pricked up right now when it's talking about money. Katie, what else?
We're going to talk about how to approach a voiceover agency, the do's and don'ts. It's not always that easy to get yourself on the book, but there are tricks that we can teach you, and what we expect to hear in your reel, which is basically the CV of the voiceover world, and how to get a reel recorded. We can teach you all about that on Tuesday.
Amazing. We're going to literally dive into it all. Honestly, folks, we're going to walk you through step by step how you get yourself set up in the voiceover world effectively. We're also going to throw open the floor to Q&A. Anything we can help you with, push your career forward in this part of the industry. We are here for it. If you want to get involved, get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of this session and every session. We sit down almost every single week with the biggest casting directors, the biggest agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. And ladies, bit of pressure. Don't know who wants to take this. I'm going to ask you this. I ask this every guest. Why don't actors want to miss this session in particular?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
I think on Tuesday, we're going to reveal the most money that one of our voiceover artists has made in 1 hour. So have a little think about what that number might be, and we will reveal that on Tuesday.
We may run a sweepstake. Honestly, be prepared. It's probably quite staggering. I know you're definitely going to want to find out about it. Be there, folks. Honestly, this will be one of the most valuable sessions we do this year. actonthis.tv/live. Boom! Come back on, Petch. Right, we're going to call it a day. We will call that a day there, folks. But yeah, I can't speak. Act on this. I'm a voiceover artist. Can't speak. actonthis.tv/live. Yeah, go check it out, and we'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow night. And we're also going to be live a lot more on YouTube. So please subscribe. I know we don't do this. We've not been doing this for long. We've only been going live on YouTube for a week or so, Petch. But we're going to try and go live multiple times a week now to bring you daily news, what's going on at Act On This, and what's going on in the wider acting industry as well. So please subscribe on YouTube. Turn your notifications on as well. Follow us on Instagram. Search for Act On This TV everywhere
as well. Like the video and comment, because that always helps the algorithm. It pushes it out to people who you think might need this.
That'd be really useful. Yeah, share it, like it, even unlike it if you want. It doesn't matter. It's still good for the algorithm. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want. It's fine by me. But yeah, just please spread the word if you are getting value from this, and we will be back for more.
Actors, if you've got any actor friends who are wanting to get into voiceover in general, just tell them about tomorrow and ask them to come and join us.
Yeah, that would be amazing to see everybody there. Awesome. Right, well, I'm getting ready to end this, Petch. We'll do the little countdown. We'll say bye for now, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow night, hopefully 7:30 p.m. Love to everybody. Please explore voiceover. Honestly, it could change your life, and we'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, Petch, you know what time it is. In 3, 2, 1. Bye for now. See you in a bit, folks. Bye for now. How do I end this, Petch? Here we go. End